April 14th, 2021. It's about 3:45 p.m. in the afternoon here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We're getting some rain, some thunder showers, and some thunder. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you're staying defended. I do want to just mention, I want to mention a couple of things at the beginning of this little video. Um, I'm pretty sick. I get beat up after. That was a great panel we did. Really liked it, but I get really beat up afterwards, and I have to go and help with my grandma too. So I haven't made a video. I guess in a while for YouTube. I guess it's a while, but not for me. It's good. Did y'all hear that? That's thunder outside. I did want to mention at the beginning of this video, and this is the memory stuff is really bad. Just please, God, just like bring it. I want to mention what this channel is about because I got a comment from somebody on the panel saying, or it may have been wow, the thunder is not cooperating. But somebody had mentioned like, what are y'all talking about? Is this just entertainment? Talking about targeting, talking about remote neural manipulation. They were like, what is this? You shouldn't be like making negative entertainment or something. And as somebody who's not experiencing this, who doesn't know, doesn't know about all the biometrics and transhumanism. So I just wanted to declare this channel, I am being targeted and tortured by integrated directed energy weapon systems, integrated neuro weapon systems. Many of the people, the majority of people that watch my channel are being tortured by integrated directed energy weapon systems, integrated neuro weapon systems, basically biometrics warfare, right? But it's like we don't like it's like my attackers are doing this remotely from me. A lot of us have ideas on who it is, if it's a neighbor or something like that, but it's remote. It's being done by the military industrial complex. I also want to mention, so that's what this channel is about mainly. It's about like we want to stop the torture. We want to get at the very least medical care. And we do want, I know a lot of targeted individuals, we just want the torture to stop, but it would be nice to be given money for the years of our lives that we've lost working. Some targeted individuals work through it. I tried to have a job for many years during it, and then it just the V2K and the external just microwave torture to my body, I had to stop working like that and just try and like do activism and stuff like that. Then I want to mention we do not consent. No targeted individual that watches this channel, nor any targeted individual that is being tortured, consents to this experimentation and torture to do training, research, and development on these weapon systems and biometrics. This is obvious now that this stuff's going on because everybody's being experimented on with biometrics, hence the jab, hence a lot of things that have come out of the pandemic. Now they're doing widespread experimentation. Many new jabs are going to be experimented on babies, and we're going to be going over that like in another video or live stream. But I just wanted to mention those things. My channel is about survivors of cyber torture. I am a survivor of cyber torture. I am being attacked right now by external microwaves, voice to skull, and remote neural manipulation, remote neural monitoring. And all these things are we discuss these things and all the layers of biometric experimentation, biometric torture to citizens around the world, right? I usually do focus on like the Pentagon and DARPA and agencies within America because that's the ones that I'm focusing on. I'll try and do more of a like in your country too, because I know I have a lot of targeted individuals that watch me from the UK, from New Zealand, from Australia, many other places like Romania and stuff like that. So many other places. So I'll try and be more global. I'll try and be more global in a good way, like explaining all the different things in our independent countries. I'll try and just speak like that, right? I probably won't be delving into what exactly the agencies are called in the UK, the agencies are called in France or something like that. I'm just going to say like whatever your Pentagon and DARPA is, and probably if you're in a smaller country, I don't know if I have any people from smaller countries that are just allies with the United States but don't have their own military industrial complexes, or have their own military industrial complexes but rely on bigger countries. You might be, like, if you're in a smaller country, the Pentagon and DARPA might be responsible at the head of your targeting. And now, when I say at the head of our targeting, there are more global forces above the Pentagon and DARPA in agencies like this, right? That are giving the orders, think tanks and things like that, organizations that look at algorithms of the entire world and the population and stuff, and then they plan things with the Pentagon and DARPA, whatever the Pentagon and DARPA is in your country, right? Let me show this first, because I do want to just show two articles. This video is going to be called "The Pentagon Unveils New Microchip for CV." Right? But I did want to show this thing from Ryan Reynolds. It was pretty funny. Check this out. Check this out, guys. I hope I have the sound.
Ryan
right.
Reynolds has joked that he's finally got 5G as he and Blake Lively received their COVID-19 vaccines. The Hollywood couple took to social media to document having the jab on Wednesday, and the Deadpool star poked fun at the conspiracy theory that falsely suggested the cellular mobile network is linked to coronavirus. Ryan shared a snap of himself being administered the dose of the vaccine wearing a beanie hat and quipped, "Finally got 5G."
So he says, so he tweeted out, "Finally got 5G," when he took the jab, right? That's hilarious. And it's a serious question because the military-industrial complex is inherently linked to these pharmaceutical companies. We see with the Johnson & Johnson jab, there are blood clots and problems, and there's recalls on a lot of those jabs, right? So there's surface problems with these things because they don't know what's going to happen with everybody when they get the jab. But then there's other problems about what exactly is in them. Is it gonna affect how directed energy interacts with that human being that got the jab, and what they're going to do with that, right? These are serious questions, but they're being labeled conspiracy theory, right? Anything important. This is how it goes, guys. So if you're labeled conspiracy theorist or whatever, and I'm not going to say with everything that's called a conspiracy theory it's like this, but with most that deal with things going on in our communities and deal with our intelligence agencies doing certain things like surveillance and torture, widespread torture, to not just dragging people off to Guantanamo Bay, but in their homes, torturing them with microwaves indefinitely, where the torture victim does not know when it's going to end and doesn't see an end in sight, like I do. I don't see an end in sight. I do believe we can end this, but you know what I mean, right? Y'all know what I mean. My attackers are really wiping my memory, guys, so we're just going to have to deal with that. So let me show you guys this. And I want to show y'all the first article, and then I want to show y'all an article that's really funny about dispelling the conspiracy theory that the Pentagon is going to put microchips in people to sense CV, right? They're trying to dispel that, and I want to show y'all. It's really funny. It's really funny how they lie to people and try and calm them down about these things when it's even worse than what they're trying to say it isn't, right? Y'all will understand when I show y'all. I know that didn't make much sense. But okay, so Pentagon creates microchip that senses CV in the body. Before I start, I'll make a short video about that. Okay, so Pentagon creates microchip that senses CV in the body. The microchip, which reportedly does not track movements, is carried in a tissue-like gel and is designed to test the patient's blood. See, it's in a hydrogel, right? So let me show you something. Let me read a little bit of this, and then I want to jump to another article to show you all the funny. It's like this is so horrible. It's such a horrible lie that we have to laugh kind of funny. It's not a ha-ha funny, this is a great thing, right? Okay, and my attackers are like really slowing down my computer and just like freezing, and they're closing windows and stuff, so it's gonna take me a little while Okay, so scientists at the Pentagon have created a microchip. So scientists at the Pentagon have created a microchip that, once inserted under the skin, can detect if the patient develops CV, according to a report by The Independent. The Pentagon, the headquarters of the United States Department of Defense, has also developed a filter that can remove the novel CV from a patient's blood through a dialysis machine. That's BS. It's crazy. It's a lie. That's a lie that they would be able to do this. They just want to get these things in people. It's not going to take out CV at all. According to the report, researchers at the DARPA have said that they worked for years on ways to prevent infections in pandemics. Their work was revealed on a 60-minute show on U.S. television channel CBS on April 11th. And then I got to be real careful when I go down because it takes a couple of seconds to catch up. Okay, money control, and that's the online journal. Money control could not independently verify the news reports. The idea mooted after mooted. So they got this. They're saying they got this idea right after 1,271 sailors were infected on board the USS Theodore Roosevelt aircraft carrier in 2020. Now, let me tell you what really happened. The pandemic was planned, and they had already planned stuff like this, and they already had it ready, and they already had it developed. And that's the fact, and that's what happened. They didn't just develop this afterwards, they had this before. The microchip, which reportedly does not track movements, is carried in a tissue-like gel, so a hydrogel, in a tissue-like gel, and is designed to test the patient's blood. You put it underneath your skin, and what that tells you is that there are chemical reactions going on inside the body, and that signal means you are going to have symptoms tomorrow. Explained retired Colonel Matt Hepburn, an Army infectious disease physician leading DARPA's pandemic response. So we all see what's happening here, right? This should be, you should, in your head right now, you should be thinking problem, reaction, solution, right? They created the problem, a global problem that's doing way more than just like an opportunity to put more biometric sensors in people, right? It's a bigger problem than that, but they had already planned more biometric testing, more putting biometrics into people, right? Now, question, let me show you guys something real quick. I got to go to this one because I found this on my other I found this I found this on my other search, like not Google, it was another search, and it wasn't under Google. So it's a Newsweek article. Check this out. Severe cognitive issues, but I'm keeping down the pain with Dave Casassidi. Wanted to mention that too. Somebody on the panel said that I'm not saying that enough. I say it all the time, so some of you are like, oh, we've already heard about Dave Casassidi and where to get it, but I'm going to need to repeat that because some people may be just coming to this video right now. They may not go back to my old videos. So please, if you're a targeted individual, you're getting the body pain, you're getting the ring in your ears, you feel like you have remote neural manipulation, remote neural monitoring, go to antitinnitusv2k.com. There are testimonies from many targeted individuals about how it's worked for them. It's like $15 to ship it out to you. Please get that. It's a lifeline for me and a lifeline for others. I would like to say too, and I guess this isn't going to open up. Yeah, my attackers are just like freezing everything, making it hard for me to do anything on the computer. And I think I'm going to have to I'm going to clear the computer first and see if that frees up stuff. I think that I don't think that's what it is, but I'm going to try that. And then I think I'm just going to have to get a new computer somehow. But I do want to say, I'll leave that. I don't even know if this is going to open up. Hold on one second, guys. I'm just going to put the video out like this because there's always going to be this kind of stuff in my videos. You know, my attackers are really mad, And like I said, like I did an interview with Brian too, and then the other panel, and they don't care about a single video. They don't want me getting momentum because it helps me in my life and it helps other people and it gets this information out right. So they're really concerned about momentum, and so they just like, I mean, they were just like erasing my brain after that panel, and making me so sick, that I was just like shaking. This morning I got up and it wasn't, it was bad. It's like hard to say like it wasn't that bad because it can, our targeting can get so bad. It wasn't as bad as the worst, right? Because I'm using Dave KCD, but it's been so long that I got up and I was like sitting up, and and just with my mouth open because like my spine up here, it like felt so cooked, and it's been so long, right? They've been cooking my spine every night, for years and years and years while I sleep. This is very serious. Like, so to people like that lady who are like, what is this? Is this some kind of entertainment? This is very negative and we need to be focused on positive stuff. This is happening to millions of people around the world. Biometrics testing, ever after World War II, it started in most of these Five Eye countries and other countries too, and they're experimenting on people with voice to skull, with remote neural manipulation, gang stalking the people in external microwave torture, and then gang stalking the people, telling their communities that they did something right or they need to be watched. Pretty much like a red flagging. What do they call red flag laws? But it's way worse, and it's made up, right? So like this person could do something. We're going to put them in this torture program and gang stalk them, right? And I mean that's a simplification. There's a lot of different, a lot of different, a lot of different, a lot of different situations. It's bad, guy. This is bad, guy. I gotta go to neurologist. It's, you know what I told my attackers? I said, all right, you want to hurt me that bad? You want to hurt me this bad for speaking out? I said checkmate. I say checkmate because if these people in the automated systems hurt me so much that a neurologist has no choice but to say there's damage, they lose. If they slow down on me, they lose. You know, we're doing this, guys. We're doing this. Sorry about the vocab's not going to be that great because they do something to my brain and my language center. They focus on that left side, like my left temple a lot too, which I'm kind of concerned about. So fact check: did the Pentagon develop a CV detecting microchip? They're fact checking it, right? Because there's this conspiracy theory going on that the Pentagon is going to microchip people to check and see if they have CV. Now look what they say because it's hilarious. And if people don't understand what's happening in nanotechnology and things smaller than rice grain sized microchips, then they'll be like, ah, that's not a microchip, that is a conspiracy theory. But it's worse. It's worse than they're microchipping people. They're putting a hydrogel into people, which contains nanotechnology and other things that maybe we don't even know about. We need to be asking the question, does this go past the blood-brain barrier? But the Pentagon is saying it's just a hydrogel that goes under the skin and it can detect certain things organically that are going on when you're sick, like lactates show up when you're sick, like this article says. I'll read a little bit of it, but the question we need to ask is, you can put something in the body, and if it has nanotechnology in it, it can direct it to any part of the body they want it to go to, and it can go past the blood-brain barrier. So if they tell people this isn't a microchip, it's just hydrogel, and it's just going to be put under the skin there, right? They're lying, because we need to be asking the questions, is that hydrogel? Because many hydrogels that they're creating are going to go past the blood-brain barrier, and they will be able to interact with directed energy. 5G. 5G, but there's many other things besides 5G that make up the directed energy weapons grid that surrounds the globe using satellites, radar, microwave towers, wind towers, drones, helicopters, aircraft, and things like that. And then many things that I'm leaving out, that I'm forgetting. You know, smart meters, the wiring just where you live, they can use to attack a person in their home. So this whole thing, like the power lines, right? Frank was talking about lily waves coming off of power lines. That is very real. That is very real. So it's a all this infrastructure the infrastructure that the system has been building since like the early 1900s, and they built more onto it and built more onto it, and then satellites come in and microwave towers come in, and then you got 4G, 5G, you've got transceivers, you got magnetrons on microwave towers that can direct microwave energy. But the FCC doesn't regulate those or write those down. Those are like black project. You have to have clearance to know about those things, but they're in every community, right? This isn't like Area 51 where they can just hide it forever, and even stuff on that's coming out. But this is in every community. So as the CV pandemic continues to rock the globe, mhm, scientists are having to contend with conspiracy theories and misinformation related to the outbreak. Those questions that we have to ask. That's like, we need to ask these questions because people are being murdered by biometrics. They're being tortured. Their brains are being turned inside out by biometrics. So when we have 5G and then we have a pandemic that seems really fishy and all this stuff, we need to be asking these questions. But it's like the important questions, the ones that will get you to the answers, that's called a conspiracy theory because they want people to have the opposite of knowledge that they need to have, because then the people have no power to make their lives better or to fight the things that are killing them and their families, right? Because this is asymmetrical warfare. It's asymmetrical warfare from people at the top of the pyramid, globalists with a lot of money, and they have their puppet strings in the military industrial complexes of the world and the governments of the world. And the governments already bow to the military industrial complex. Most governments, I'd say all the governments. And we see that in Joe Biden. He's just propped up on a podium and he just does exactly what the intelligence agencies and globalists, in the globalists controlling those intelligence agencies and military industrial complex, he does exactly what they want to do. So in some cases, this results in jab hesitancy, an unwillingness to receive CV jab because of distrust or fear. And me and my grandma were talking about this yesterday. She's not going to take it. I'm not going to take it. My 90-year-old grandmother, it is such a great conversation because she doesn't understand exactly what's happening to me. She may have heard from another family member, oh, he's just mentally ill. He just imagines. But we had a conversation where it's like she was like, I don't trust the government. They're crazy. The government's crazy. And I was like, yeah, and they're doing all this biometrics testing. And she was like, yeah, I bet you they are. I bet you they're experimenting on people. And so, like, she was saying stuff like this. So maybe she's getting close. I mean, I hope she's not getting close to the end of her life. But it's like she's talking to me for real now. It's almost like we both. Yeah, it sucks that she's like at the end of her life. She can't walk. She can't like get up to use the bathroom and stuff. But she's still. It seems like she's gonna be around for a while. But it's like this barrier between me and her about this. We're both kind of like, it drops because of the situation. It's so cool, and that's why I really want some of you guys, maybe guys and gals who have separated from your families or whatever. Now I don't know about families that are perping people. I don't know what to tell you on that. Maybe you should just get away from your family. But you guys that like your family doesn't believe you and you're getting away from them, try and hang on to some of those relationships because things can change. There's different situations than that, so I don't want to tell anybody what to do on that. Some conspiracy theorists allege that governments, or maybe Bill Gates, he is, are using jabs as a way to inject people with microchips. They're doing more than that. They're doing more than that. That's simplified. Oh, they're going to get microchips in everybody, and then they're going to be able to detect and track them where they're going. They're way, way, way further than that already, involuntarily not telling the public and doing it to like tens of millions of people around the world, and then doing other biometrics testing in a less intense way on many, many billions of people, right? So and they're doing it with nanoparticulates, smart dust, unique brainwave signature. Your brain has magnetite in it, and it also has a unique signature The advanced, like pretty much all the integrated directed energy weapon systems, integrated neuro weapon systems, they're advanced. They're advanced enough to attach to somebody's unique brainwave signature and then keep on getting a stronger resonance with the brain, right? That's what they're doing during the targeting. They're traumatizing us physically, hitting us with external microwaves, gang stalking, isolation, torture, trauma, 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 trauma. It changes the brain, right? And then it signals to and from the brain, right? And then they use things like nanotechnology, microchips. They're still using them, guys. I want they don't have to. That's an older technology, but I want to tell you the military-industrial complex and this global system, it doesn't throw things away. It keeps them as redundant systems, right? So I want to really emphasize that because a lot of us were like, oh well, that's an older technology. They don't no, they use older technologies and newer technologies, and they use them all on top of each other. They stack them, right? They stack them. That's one thing that I did learn from the other side. I watched how they stacked things onto us as target individuals, and then it's like, whoa, that's hard to beat. If it was just directed energy weapons and everybody in our community loved us, we could get help. We could make people understand, right? So they got to get the whole community lied to about it. Then you're fighting layers of stuff, right? You're fighting layers, and there's other ways that you're fighting layers. I can't think real good right now, but you know what I'm saying. In targeting, it's layers, and so I feel like for our defense, we have to layer with spirituality, hanging on to God in the name of Jesus Christ, defenses, staying healthy, eating healthy, running and exercising and everything like that, which I don't do a good job on, but like I've got to get going on it. And I do want to mention too, with the supplements and everything, guys, the probiotics and like I had Crohn's when I was a kid. I still have Crohn's, but I'm in remission. But I got these probiotics. I've shown them to y'all before. Um, and you could go to your health food store and ask for any, like, tell them what, you don't tell them about your targeting, but tell them about your pain and, like, oh, my brain's kind of doing, and then ask them, like, what kind of probiotic would I use for this? These are called Dr. Ohhira's probiotics. Now, let me tell you, I started taking these, I started feeling a lot better. My brain started feeling more fortified. My endocrine system started feeling more fortified, right? Because we know they break those things down. They're trying to interfere with those things with remote neural manipulation in the targeting, right? So I'm taking these probiotics, the Dr. Ohhira's probiotics. Take a screenshot of that. Now I took them for a month, felt so good, more fortified, more energy, more just in my endocrine system with more adrenaline and things like that. Stopped taking. I ran out of my month supply. And so for 4 days, I didn't take them. And like in 2 days of not taking them, I started, or maybe it was 3 days, maybe it was towards the end, I started feeling more inflammation. The old inflammation that I had before. And you know, if you have inflammation or an injury on your body, with remote neural manipulation, your attackers can turn that up, right? And then I started taking the probiotics 2 days ago. Inflammation went down, right? And I feel more fortified, and I feel more energy. I feel not, I mean, the targeting's still going on, but this is fortification. You'll feel stronger. Now, the thing is, I had Crohn's disease, so I'm not sure since I had Crohn's disease if it's really helping me a lot because I had all that. So I don't know if a person who has a healthy gut, I don't know if it would help them as much as me, right? Kind of hearing a weird, let me take this out. My attackers have to do something. Like if I'm sitting here playing a video game or something, they'll mess with my USB drive and make this thing go, and then they'll like disconnect the wireless. There's like a weird beeping sound on it. Yeah, they gotta mess with everything. But these really do work. It's just making me feel great. I would take a shot with them. I do have Crohn's disease, but I'm not in a flare up. But just take a shot with them. I got something like playing on audio, but it's just going doot, 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 doot. I don't know if y'all hear it. It must be because my computer's lagging, so it's doing that, but it's like cutting in and out. Okay, so So, the claim. Some prominent Twitter users complained about the alleged chip's invasiveness and linked it to the conspiracy theories. Right-wing activist Chuck Woolery linked to an article that referred to the technology as a microchip and called it an Orwellian nightmare. So I want to explain. So Mark of the Beast, Pentagon announces Orwellian nightmare. People are saying, no, 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 it's not a microchip, right? That's what Newsweek is saying. This is conspiracy theory. People are saying microchip. It's just a hydrogel. A hydrogel is worse. What is in that hydrogel? And the ignorance of the public is being used to make that, oh, it's just a hydrogel, seem like it's not a microchip, so no worries, it's just a hydrogel. That hydrogel is more dangerous because we don't know what kind of nanotechnology or liquid biometric technology is in that. When they can deliver things, they can give it specific programming, what they put in your body to go to a specific part of your body. It's like nanotechnology can be programmed to go past the blood-brain barrier, right? These questions need to be asked. It could be way more dangerous than just a microchip sitting there. So the way that they're doing things is way more dangerous. It's way more unknown, right, to the public than a microchip is. But this is how they do things. This is how they lie, right? So Chuck Woolery said, "Mark of the Beast: Pentagon announces Orwellian nightmare." Tim Pool's talking about it too. They were doing a live stream and talking about this and talking about biometrics and talking about electromagnetic frequencies and how they're used in everything. Boom, boom, boom. The dam is breaking, guys. Obviously, the dam is breaking. It's just the water's going in all these different directions, and we gotta this metaphor is getting really weird, but we gotta drink the water somehow. Like, I don't know if you would drink the water in this metaphor, but it's like, oh, it's over here, and we drink the water. That was horrible, because that's not what we mean. The dam's breaking, though. The dam is breaking. It's breaking, guys. Many of the Twitter claims were based on Sunday night's CBS 60 Minutes interview with Dr. Matt Hepburn, a military doctor who formerly worked for DARPA, the U.S. Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. In the interview, Hepburn said he had been told by DARPA to take pandemics off the table and discuss some ongoing military research projects, including a sensor that is placed underneath the skin that uses a light signal to indicate whether or not someone is ill. He said, that signal means you are going to have symptoms tomorrow. Now, I'd like to mention this real quick. This is some logic for you targeted individuals to, like, if you're speaking to somebody, so they have all these biometrics, right? And they work inside of people's bodies, right? And we know that, and that's fact. And everybody knows it. All these biometrics are being used worldwide, and they're coming out new biometrics and stuff like that. And they just work, like you put it in the human body, and it just works. It sends signals to whatever and everything like that. Now, how did they know that that was going to work inside of a human body? Now, you don't have to know that if you're not a target individual. You don't have to be like, well, did they get volunteers for that or whatever? You don't have to know that. Let me tell you something. So many people over the years have been giving testimonies of being hit by microwaves, have been like claiming there are things in them that they don't know, right? They don't know if there's something in them or not, but they're being experimented on remotely, biometrically tortured, right? Cyber torture for years, for years. So you have to take that. You have to take the biometrics and the technologies coming out now, and you scratch your head and you say, where did that stuff come from? How did they know that's going to work with somebody's brain? How did they know this thing put inside the body would work this way? And then you didn't have to guess. All you got to do is go back to all these testimonies of targeted individuals and then make that logical, common sense connection that the military industrial complexes of the world with globalist strings in them have been experimenting on the people of every country for many, 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 many years. And these people are not mentally ill. They are telling the truth. That's all you got to do. You don't have to guess. You just take the one-to-one common sense thing, right? So you target individuals when you're talking to people, try and use that because there's logic here. There's a logic one-to-one. How are these things even existing that they're putting into people, these biometrics? How are these things tested? Nobody heard anything about volunteers. All these things were tested involuntarily. Like targeted individuals, we're owed more than millions of dollars for the billions of dollars that these corporations and everything are making all of this technology, all this biomedical and biometric stuff that collects data from the human body. We're owed billions of dollars for the experimentation they've done on us. Altogether, targeted individuals around the world, we're probably owed trillions of dollars for time lost that we could be living our lives. But not just that, the technology they're coming out with to sell to people, sell to them on a mass scale, right? We're owed billions of dollars, maybe trillions. Okay, so he said the signal means you are going to have symptoms tomorrow, right? So there would be a signal that's a sensor, and it's sent to them, and then it can beep or whatever, and then that says that you may have symptoms from CV. You have it, but you don't know you have it, right? So it's like they could just fake that signal, and a bunch of people that don't have CV are like, which I'd like to mention, I still haven't gotten tested, and I still haven't had any symptoms of like a cold or anything. But since really Crohn's disease, since I had a flare up, I don't get many colds. I'll maybe get a runny nose sometime or something like that, but I don't get many knockdown, drag out flus. I don't get any of that stuff because Crohn's disease is an autoimmune disorder where your immune system is working too fast. It starts attacking my own body because it's working too fast. So viruses don't really survive in my body. They get eaten up because my immune system's like, but that's bad because it tears holes in the colon. Right now, it seems pretty balanced. Or I'm not sure. Being targeted, they could have like done some things where the flare-ups aren't the same. I'm not sure. There's so much manipulation going on to my brain and my body. The facts. The technology does go under the skin, but it is neither a microchip nor does it detect CV. So it's not a microchip. Okay, so those conspiracy theorists are wrong. Let's see here. Speaking to Newsweek, Hepburn said his interview had caused confusion. No microchips, no electronics, none of that stuff, he said. It wouldn't tell you if you had influenza or if you had CV. The technology is actually a hydrogel, a spongy substance designed to have a similar composition to the surrounding tissue so that the body does not attempt to reject it. Now the question is, what's in that hydrogel? That hydrogel is a transceiver. How is that hydrogel a transceiver? It's going to get a signal. It's going to show a signal, right? Let's see. Using chemical reactions, the hydrogel can be altered to respond to a number of substances in the body. When it does, it glows very dimly, and this light can be detected using a sensor placed outside of the skin. This screams trick to me. This screams trick, because what's in that hydrogel? Nanotechnology is so small, and they're trying to make they've made nanotechnology that is, when it enters the body, it goes to the brain. It goes past the blood-brain barrier. This hydrogel, they're saying, oh, well, it just stays in one place and it just glows and stuff like that. But they're saying that the jab doesn't have anything. They're saying the jab's fine, right? All these things, they're going to be lying to us. And people need, I'm telling you, targeted individuals, our stories are so important to humanity. It's an ironic thing that when we talk about what we're going through, we're seen as the most selfish, mentally ill people in the world, right? And that's changing, but y'all know what I mean. That's what we've been dealing with. But the reality of it is what we're going through is so important for people to know when they see something like this come out. Because we need to ask questions, because microchips, rice-sized microchips, are not what they're using anymore. They're still redundant systems. They still use it, but it's older technology. They've gone on to smart dust that's like dust-sized microchips, nanotechnology that's microscopic, that could be all through that hydrogel, right? And other things that I don't even know about, right? Other things that I may not have mentioned that I know about, but then other things that I just totally don't know about. One tissue substance that the hydrogel can detect is lactate. Hepburn said that these lactate levels can indicate whether someone is about to get ill. If you can sense tissue level lactate, what happens when someone is starting to get sick is that those tissue lactate levels start to rise. He told, okay, blah, 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 blah. So I don't want to just say, like, we need to ask that question if there's something in my attackers are just like the computer's heating up, and then windows are like almost closing and stuff like that. So let me kind of hurry with this. So I want to kind of just show you all this, and we went through this a while back, so that I'm not just completely saying this, and then people are like, it is just a hydrogel, right? It just glows and stuff like that. These people are liars. They're lying to us so badly, and they're murdering innocent people, and then lying about those innocent people. They don't care if they put something out like a hydrogel and there's stuff in it that's going to be used for transhumanistic means, biometric testing and biometric tracking and everything. They don't care if they lie about that to the public. They don't care because none of this stuff, like the nanotechnology and all that other stuff, is for certain clearances, right? So they say, well, this is for certain clearances. We'll put it in there, but the public only needs to know that it's a hydrogel that kind of glows. I'm not saying it's 100%, but I'm saying we've got to ask that question, right? Because there's some dubious, suspicious things going on in the world. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. Trying to jazz it up a little bit. Just getting jazzy, getting jiggy, kind of getting jiggy. So I want to bring it back to this. DoD announces $600 million for 5G experimentation and testing at 5 installations, right? So Ryan Reynolds is saying, I just got 5G, right? And they're making all these jokes and stuff like this, but it's like the Pentagon has been targeted individuals, has been at the head of this, targeting people with microwave, with electromagnetic frequencies, remote neural manipulating people. This is not the beginning experimentation. This is just like, oh, we're going to tell the public about some 5G experimentation. But then the Pentagon says it's developing a hydrogel, right? It's going to detect CV. But they've been testing 5G dual use, right? Dual use means testing it on people. So if we're looking at this, today the Department of Defense announced $600 million in awards for 5G experimentation and testing at 5 U.S. military test sites, representing the largest full-scale 5G test for dual-use applications. Dual use means on people. Like there's one use, which is like good things and just equipment and stuff like that, and mechanical use and stuff. But then the other use is like, how does it? Dual use means good things that don't hurt anybody, then bad things that hurt a lot of people. This is a dual use. That's what it means. So when they say dual use, they mean experimentation on people. How can this be used to debilitate a person, cause morbidity? Like I like that word that Dr. James G. Adorno uses, morbidity, because for some of us it's not like it. I don't feel like I'm going to die today, right? But it creates so much pain and so much pain in my mind that it immobilizes me in a lot of things, like helping my grandmother, or helping my family, or having a career, or being stable financially so I can have a family, right? But they would say it's immobilizing me and creating morbidity so I don't go do dangerous stuff in society, right? You see, that's how they work. That's how everything's been flipped and inverted because of Satanism, right? Because the leadership of this world is just corrupted by Satan. So each installation will partner military services, industry leaders, and academic experts to advance the department's 5G capabilities. Projects will include piloting 5G-enabled augmented virtual reality for mission planning and training, testing 5G-enabled smart warehouses, and they would have to have people with stuff inside of them to see if those smart warehouses work, right? People are going into those and they're seeing how things work, right? Connected to people. And evaluating 5G technologies to enhance distributed command and control. I'm not sure if the smart warehouses. I don't know if they're bringing people in there, but that's just a guess. Dual use means on people to hurt them. But then in the article, it's all very like using PC words and technical words and things that really aren't explaining that, right? So karmically, these evil people can be like, well, we told them, but we really didn't tell them. That's their whole thing. Like, in movies and things, they'll do predictive programming, and it's like, well, we're telling the public, but they don't even really it's like they can kind of guess that that's what we're going to do. We're not really just telling them outright. So they're at fault, right? Which is the stupidest thing, and it's not even true, and it's just a joke. It's a joke to me. It should be a joke to any normal person. Um, so and then there's this one too. It may take too long to pop up, but I just wanted to show y'all that. I just wanted to show y'all Pentagon unveils microchip, because you have the hydrogel. There's microchips that are dust size. There's nanotechnology that's even smaller than that, like on a molecular level, right? So what's in this hydrogel? What's in this hydrogel? And it saying hydrogel, something that's unknown and what goes into it's unknown. That's more scary to me than if they just said, yeah, we're going to put a rice-sized grain microchip in people's hands, and it'll receive a signal when their lactate's up, right? That would be less dangerous to me, because that it's still bad, right? But that rice-sized grain microchip stays right there. Hydrogel, who knows how that hydrogel and the stuff in it is programmed to move in the body, because nanotechnology is programmed to move to certain places in the body. Some nanotechnologies put it on the spot and it stays, right? Okay, so that's basically just what I want to tell y'all. I guess I can show y'all this at the end. I might make a shorter video just showing everybody. I'll just make a shorter video because it's pretty cool, and it's a pretty cool solution. And me and my mom were looking for solutions because I use Dave Case's CD a lot, and I have a hard time. I have a hard time waking up. Like I have to if I like sleep if I sleep like if I wake up like late at night and I got to do something the next day, and I'm like, oh, I have to go to sleep early in the morning. I'm not going to be able to wake up in time. I can't just take a 4-hour nap because I have to listen to Dave Case's CD, and I turn my alarms on, right, and I can't hear them. I can't hear them. So it's like I have to be like, it has to be like, oh, I get at least 6 hours sleep. I have to have at least 6 hours before I have to do something if I want to sleep. So this thing is a solution for that. I'll give you a little hint. And I'll do probably probably tomorrow we're gonna do a live stream and just watch Tim Pool's little live stream that they did talking about this stuff. I think that would be cool. And then I'll tell you guys about it. I'll either do a short video before that live stream. Um, yeah, I'll either do a short video before that live stream or just tell y'all the live stream. But we're going to do some stuff, and we're going to do some more of those panels. I really like those panels. The panels where we just had everybody on, I was like, yeah, I didn't really want to do them because it's hard to control people talking over each other. And then some people haven't talked in a while, and they just want to talk. And then it's like everybody, it's you guys know. This worked way better. This worked way better. I liked it better. I felt like people who really never got a chance to talk got to talk. Now let's watch the rest of this real quick. Okay, yeah, my attackers like freeze up my computer. I think I might delete some of the like I do these power. It's a power record. Let me tell y'all what it is, so some of y'all can maybe get it if y'all want. Okay, I gotta pause this. This is just stuff I'm gonna have to work through with them like hacking into my computer. And every time I turn on my computer, there's like 3 or 4 of those black boxes, programming boxes, and they'll like quickly open up and close, right? So my attackers have like programming things they can do in the background while I'm on my computer. And this is their job. This is their job. Like if I'm sitting there playing PlayStation 4 and I'm not paying attention to the V2K enough for them, then they'll like disconnect they'll just disconnect the Wi-Fi for the PlayStation, and a thing will come up and say Wi-Fi has been disconnected. They have to have that kind of like, if I'm not focused, they can do that. It's such a pathetic thing, right? But they have to do that to grab my attention again. They do worse stuff. They'll just freeze up my game and try and like corrupt data on PlayStation 4. But like that little thing should show you how petty these people are, how much damage they're doing with their petty minds, right? like we got to get his attention, so we're just going to disconnect the Wi-Fi on his PS4, and it's going to send this little box out, and it's going to it's going to grab his focus for like a millisecond. Right? I mean, they do that stuff all the time, and that's the small stuff, right? That's the small stuff. That ain't no big deal, but it's juxtapose that, doing that little thing that's supposed to grab your focus with destroying your brain, right? And I'm not saying my brain's destroyed. I'm not saying y'all's brains are destroyed, but that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to destroy your brain and make you do violent things, or just like make it so you can't work and stuff like that, and you're isolated from your family, and eventually it's just like you can't survive because you don't have enough money and stuff like that. And worse, and kill us too. All right, guys, I love y'all. Um, Stay strong, stay strong, stay connected to God in the name of Jesus Christ. Um, and we'll talk about more. What we're gonna do some live streaming stuff and panels. Um, and I'm thinking of some stuff. But I think the best idea, I just want to say, a lot of target individuals are doing a lot of different things, and whatever God puts into your heart, right? The way I'm seeing it right now, and I just want to say this over and over and over and over and over and over again. We have got to connect ourselves with all this stuff that's going on in the mainstream. That's the way that people are gonna understand this, right? I feel like, and this isn't a slight on any organization that uses this term, our targeted individual community, right? I think that's okay because people need help, right? That are going through this, and it's a community that we try and help each other. We try our best, and it's so hard sometimes because so many people are going through death-defying things, and it's hard to help everybody. But I just like to say, I think even if we're using those terms and we're trying to help each other as a community, we need to talk about these subjects. It's not a targeted individual community. These things are going on all over the world to millions of people. And then when the pandemic started and these new biometrics are being tested, like the jab, it's a biometrics. If it changes DNA and we don't know what's in it, they're not going to tell everybody. They don't tell everybody that nanotechnology is in chemtrails, and that it's going down to the water and the food supply, and everybody's breathing it and drinking it and eating it. They've never told anybody that, and now they're amping up their plans, and they're injecting things into people when they've been dispersing things that go into our body and make us more like receivers for electromagnetic energy. Please, if you are not a targeted individual, this is not a joke. I don't know. Like, I got a little bit upset when I got that comment from that lady. Like, what is it? What kind of entertainment is this? I started to kind of go in my mind, like, society's so individualistic, that if something's happened to people and it's not happening to someone else, it's like it doesn't exist for them. And even if they hear about it, we're so individualistic that it's like, oh, that's just like an entertainment thing or something. It's very concerning. And I'm not trying to jump on that lady or anything like that. I don't even know her. I just want to straighten the score, right? And that's why I said what I did at the beginning of this video. There was something else I want to say, something else I wanted to say, but I completely forgot it. I was telling somebody that, like, I mean, literally, I was playing a video game on my PS4, and there was a part that I needed to look up online how to do, and I went to Google. I went to Google and I went to YouTube, right? Because I wanted to see somebody actually play that part so I could figure it out. Got to YouTube. This is a game that's on the screen. This is a game that I've been playing, like, I had been playing for a couple of hours that day, or maybe like 2 hours or something, and couldn't remember what I was looking for. Couldn't remember what I was looking for on YouTube. This is a game that's like right on the screen. It's something that I was just playing, and I go to YouTube and I forget. So this is strategic memory dissolution. The deal is, though, like, last night they tried to do it to me, and I grabbed the memory back. Like, I really used all my will to try and remember it. So it doesn't seem like it's memory dissolution. It seems like it's memory covering up. What would you call it? Memory interference is what it really seems like to me. It seems like you can get those memories, or at least in my situation, what they're doing, strategically targeting what you're trying to say next or what you're trying to remember that you're doing. But it's like it's just covered up. I can, if I really try, I can remember. It's very, very weird, but it's strategic targeting of the short-term memory. So that's the strategic. I don't want to say what's worse, but the things that come to mind right now that are really bad about my targeting, strategic short-term memory interference is what I'd call it. The V2K is horrifying. It almost makes me lose my mind sometimes. And then, the remote neural manipulation of the nervous system and pain in the chest and things like that. But these things that I use for defense really, really do help. It's less of a hell. It's less of a hell. All right, guys. So I've talked long enough, and I just wanted to kind of show y'all that thing about the Pentagon releasing hydrogel, which could have nanotechnology in it, could have new things beyond nanotechnology. You see, they're not telling us anything, and they're just going further and further into these technologies. And then when somebody says, "Oh, the Pentagon's putting microchips in people," they're like, "No, no, 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 no. We're not putting microchips in people. This is just a hydrogel." But then the things that could be in that hydrogel are inherently way more dangerous than just a microchip. You see how they're doing that? It's ultra evil. It's ultra evil because they've been practicing evil and deception so long, and they see the people of this world, the military-industrial complex and the globalists, they see the people, the normal people of this world, as enemies to be fought in an asymmetrical warfare, full spectrum dominance, right? So they're not going to tell us the truth about things. They're going to use us for experimentation. If they could do, I mean, this is just common sense. They can take a bunch of innocent people in the world and start extremely microwaving them and use remote neural manipulation. The rest of the people in the world, they're going to use them the same way. They're going to keep ramping up different kinds of experimentations on people. So, but that's why we need to get this out, right? That's why we need to get this information out. And don't feel selfish about this, because people need to know this. Because when they're looking at things like new hydrogels that you could get or jabs that you can get, we need to be thinking they've lied to us about things. They're murdering family members in front of other family members when the other family members don't know. Some of my family members, I'm like, they seem really targeted, but I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, right? So they're doing that. They'll do anything, right? They're going to do as much evil as we allow them to do, right? And it's like people don't really have power to even talk about sometimes the stuff that's so evil that they're doing, but they're going to do things in evil and keep going until we say no, until it's like until we don't allow them to do it. Which is like, how do we not allow them to do it? I don't know. But they're gonna go as far as they can, and they're gonna go, oh, we got away with going this far. We're gonna try and go even further. Oh, we got away with going even further. We're gonna go farther. All right, guys. I love y'all. Let's try and laugh and have joy, and just cling to God, and see things through His eyes. That's one thing. Yeah, and see things through His eyes. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. Peace and strength and love. Peace and strength and love.